Now, for a supervisor, if I need to come in and approve, it's very similar to the timesheet one where you come to manage approved timesheets, right? So you're going to do the same thing for the authorizations. You're going to come to manage approve expense authorizations and you'll go to manage approve expense reports. If I have anything that requires my action, it'll automatically pop up just like you see here. I can click on that specific expense report or authorization, come to the form view, and I can click on workflow to see exactly what I need to do. As a supervisor, when you see this task for you to approve, all you need to do is highlight the line that has your action and click perform selected task to approve and reject selected task to reject. Once you perform your task, it will no longer be populated under outstanding tasks. Rather, you can search for them just like timesheets by changing it from the task to status, selecting your function as primary supervisor. In my scenario, I'm going to do administrator. If I wanted to see everything that's in a draft status that maybe someone's working on or something that's been submitted, maybe their receipts aren't applied, or if it's part of the review process, or approved or processed, rejected, voided, doesn't matter. Select your status and click execute, just like in timesheets, and it will populate all of the expense reports that you have access to view. Now, if you decide you want to go through and use the status option to do your approval, you can. The approval's the exact same by selecting workflow, finding your task, and performing that task. This process for expense reports and authorizations are exactly the same. Any questions on approving expense reports? Got a question coming in from Larry? The process is going to be identical. The time frames are going to be identical to exactly what they were in time and expense 9. The biggest change that you're going to notice out of all of this is the user interface. Again, I want to reiterate how important it is to complete the header section of your expense report before you start claiming expenses. If you start claiming the expenses, you're going to get an error that says no charge type can be found because the system claims the expense before it can really recognize what project it's supposed to go against. So please be mindful of that. But as far as your time frame is concerned, no, there should not be any difference in the time frame of the processing of your expense reports. Great question, Larry. Thank you. Michael, I'll open the floor to you if you want to add any thoughts, comments, any further instruction.
The only thing that I would just kind of mention again about the advances, since that's a new process for us, so everyone knows the approval process. When the employee submits that, it will first go to the supervisor exactly as the EA does. So when you get an EA with an advance, you'll have 2 tasks to perform on that. And you'll see them in the workflow for the EA. Just scroll down and you'll see advance. And once the supervisor approves the advance, it'll also get an approval by Dave Morris. Most of the time, that'll just go right through. But if he has any questions or concerns, he may contact you as the supervisor. Thank you all for attending, and thank you, David, for the excellent training.